I recently did an experiment in Minecraft to see if I could survive in an only ice spikes biome. I had originally intended to comment as I played, but as I began to edit, an interesting mood developed that I felt commentary would distract from, so I left it voiceless. However, there may be a few points during the playthrough that need some clarification and some loose ends that need tying up. One goal of the experiment is to give myself a chance to play around with the replay mod. Unfortunately, being 1.16.4, I could not find the FFmpeg or batch file needed to render videos through the mod, so I had to do some creative work around that meant losing a bit of quality, and many of the pans and camera moves are manual instead of mod generated. My thought here in punching out this area was that it would give the grass a chance to grow and hopefully spawn in some mobs. I didn't know yet that only rabbits and polar bears can spawn in ice spikes. I went into this experiment without researching the biome too much because I wanted to leave the unknown alone. Not knowing what to expect is what made Minecraft fun on that very first day played almost 10 years ago. And it's one thing that makes real life an adventure. Having knowledge is good, but life seems to lose something when all the mysteries are gone. I love the added perspective of seeing the world around you through the replay mod. It allows you to become less narcissistic and see that there are things going on around you that you are not aware of. Of course, the odd twist being that the entire game is essentially about you, as none of it would exist if you hadn't generated the world, and indirectly all the mob activity is based on the player activity. Initiate if a tree falls in the woods philosophical discussion here. I tried to show all the times I lost health or made any progress in regaining it. Of all the soundtracks I used for this series, I think this wind one got the most attention from YouTube's copyright tracking system. This kind of amazes me that the sound of wind can be copyrighted, and that somehow it's distinct enough for a computer somewhere to instantly recognize it. I was pretty happy to find a ruined portal here. I foolishly thought that it meant life was going to get easier now. I was already salivating over the resources and food I could get in the nether. It's probably this foolishness that clouded my awareness of the problem with the portal itself. I realized the night was coming and figured I would make a saved hole in which to spend half the night mining out that crying obsidian. But before I started, I realized I had already placed my obby that I had and didn't have a bucket to pick up lava anyway. Saddened, I have to move on. The replay mod gives you the option of lighting up areas in post. I'm not sure if I did well to use it. With the lights on, you can see what's happening, but you don't get the real feel of the fact that I'm exploring dark places with no torches and low health and no armor. This is where I discovered that spiders can attack you through an entire solid block. Didn't know that before. Do you ever have those moments in the game when a little voice inside tells you, turn around, this isn't going to end well, and you keep doing it anyway? That time when you got your first diamonds and you know you need to put them away safely, but you kept looking for more anyway, and end up falling in lava and losing everything. This is one of those moments. My mind was playing out what that zombie was about to do before it happened. But somehow I was powerless to change my actions. I felt this was the end for me, for sure. I like this tracking shot, but I don't like the X-ray looks it gives to the world generation. So at this point I'm down to half a heart and can't sprint. I feel I need to force some food to happen. Can I make some fish spawn in this frozen lake? So I try to melt the ice. I'm used to playing on a server where fire tick is off. Took a minute to realize it was on here. So I made a cover and broke the ice by hand, not yet realizing that fish don't spawn in ice spikes at all. I was just going to sit in a hole and wait till morning, but then realized that this is the time to lure in zombies, whose flesh is my only foreseeable food source. I love this sweepback scene, made even better by the soundtrack that I can't even credit because I don't know what it is. Even YouTube didn't ID it. I love the many scenes that show how vast and lonely the world is when you're trekking alone and hungry. Still no fish. Thought I'd check one more time before I have to do the thing that I feared, the thing I wanted to avoid, digging down. I was holding off on eating the food I had because I wanted to have enough to regain some health. I wanted to save my potato for planting, but at half a heart and half a hunch, I was afraid I would starve at any second, so I felt I had to sacrifice it. Almost the entirety of part 2 was underground. Not the most fun to watch, but if I skipped it, then that would not be telling the whole story. This was a depressing depiction of the very real grind of punching my way into the depths in the faint hope of finding something to turn into food. This is the longest continuing scene in the whole series, and even it was only a fraction of the actual amount of time punching I had to do. If you hadn't noticed, the pick I got from the ruin portal was gold with mending, so to use it, I would continually have to mine coal to repair it. However, not all coal gives XP. I gambled on the last durability point and lost. Truth was, I was kind of happy to see it go. Now I realize I've entered some kind of loop trap where every time I gain a little health, right away I lose it again. This carried on the entire experiment. I was not able to recover fully, but managed to keep pressing on, at least for a time. I tried to choose soundtracks that kept with the mood that had developed. I used Minecraft's own So Below, Rubido, and Chrysopia. And here I include C418's Thunderbird. Kinda weird, kinda good, but it seems appropriate. I think Rubido is still my favorite. Another time I thought I was a goner for sure. Low health, couldn't sprint, with a baby zombie chasing me. This wasn't the last time it happened. I wasn't trying to ignite the creeper, I was trying to burn him and get some drops. Not that I could make TNT anyway, as I didn't have a crafting table. Just wasn't thinking very clearly. I guess the cold, tiredness, and lack of sleep was getting to me. This was an attempt at getting spider eyes. You can eat them, and if you have enough, you can heal up. Never got one. Found another ruined portal, but I would have happily traded in those golden apples for 6 oak planks. I love the cinematic sweeping shots. I hope somebody else does too. The whole idea here was to make a dark area for zombies to spawn. Waited for quite some time, didn't get any spawns. I think when we fail, it comes primarily from our own minds. Fatigue may have been helping, both in-game and in real life, but somehow I just wasn't aware that I kept setting myself on fire. I was feverishly pushing past the voices that said, "Turn around, this won't end well," hungry for whatever quick fix may be waiting for me in those two chests. Or maybe it was the golden apple still in my inventory, giving me false sense of well-being. I just thought I had more time. These are some of our real life traps, aren't they? Always striving for a goal, no matter how much is destroying us. Or trusting in our wealth as if that could save us. Or just ignoring the inevitable and lying to ourselves, assuming we have more time. Life in this flesh is short. We tend to not use the little time we have on the things that really matter. Love for one another, love for God, faith in Jesus, the Holy One of God. The video I've shown here is just a game, but some of the truths transcend games into real life, and real life into games, but that's a topic for another day. Also, if anyone can guess what movie sound effect I used here, I'll give them $1, if I have $1. So as it were, I still had not answered the question of survivability in the ice spikes. Someone said there was a chance of a tree generating in the biome, but after traveling thousands of blocks, I hadn't seen one yet. So I went back into the world and headed east this time. Died once again to another spider who hit through solid blocks, got lost, and after a very long time, indeed found a single spruce tree. The rumor turned out to be true, and of course, I farmed a one sapling it dropped, got geared up and everything just like you do. I cleared out an area of grass, but sadly the only food source that spawns seems to be rabbits. But they're fun to shoot. Well, I think that's all for now. I hope someday finds this helpful.